All right, Algebra 1, 3-2. Solving linear equations by graphing. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about a solution, a root, and a zero. And these we are going to use the same interchangeably. So a solution equals a root equals a zero. We're going to use all of these terms interchangeably. And what we're going to do here is we are going to set the y equal to 0, and that is what's going to get us our root or our solution or our 0. What does x equal? So we could also be talking about the x-intercept. All right, let's do an example. F of x equals 2x minus 8. Now you might see f of x or you might see y equals 2x minus 8. They're the same thing for our purposes for right now. So here's what we're going to do to find our solution or our root or our 0, which is also our x-intercept. Step 1. We are going to make f of x or y equal to 0. And then step 2 is to do your algebra to solve for x. So step 1, set f of x or y equal to 0. Step 2, solve for x. All right, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So let's write this equation down here. All right, add 8, add 8. I've got 8 equals 2x, divide by 2 from both sides so I can get 1x all by itself. So 4 equals x. That is my solution. X equals 4 is my solution. That's where this line crosses the x-axis, right at 4. Now let's do another example. Let's say y equals 1/3 x minus 2. So our first step is to make y 0. Now our second step is to solve for x. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And I have 2 equals 1/3 x. To get rid of this 1/3 here, I've got to multiply both sides by 3. 1/3 of 3 is 1, so that I end up with just 1x. 3 times 2 is 6, so x equals 6. Now I can plug this 6 back in here. 1/3 of x is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0, and so I've checked my answer, and that works well. Now let's graph this one real quick. And just so that we can see what we're talking about here. We probably should have graphed that other one too, but let's just graph this one. So when x is 0, let's plug in 0 for x. Well, so when x is 0, then y is -2. So I have a point that is 0, -2. And when y is 0, we solved that already. When y is 0, x is 6. So I've got 6, 0, and I've got 0, -2. So 0, -2, if I'm going to graph this using the intercepts, 0, negative 2, so 0, 1, 2, there's that point. That's my y-intercept. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0 is my x-intercept. So I have a line that goes right through here like this. And you can see, boom, right there at 6, I've got my root, or also known as my solution, which is also known as my 0. So you'll see these three terms used pretty interchangeably in your book. Let's have you do one on your own, and then maybe two more on your own. Let's say f of x equals 2/5 x plus 6. Okay, go ahead and do this one. Just how we've done. You don't need to graph it. That's okay. Just do it just like we did these other examples, and then actually do two of them. Okay. So pretty much, I'm just asking you to change the f of x or the y to 0, and then solve for x. All right. Go ahead and pause and do these two. Okay, welcome back. All right, so I'm going to say 0 equals 2/5 x plus 6. Subtract 6 from both sides. Then I've got negative 6 equals 2/5 x. Now, in order to get that 2/5 to be 1x, I need to multiply by the reciprocal, multiply by 5 over 2. So that makes that 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 2 is 10, 10 divided by 10 is 1, so I have x over here on this side. Now on this side, I've got, this is negative 6 over 1, so let's multiply straight across. That's 5 times negative 6 over 2 times 1. And so 5 times negative 6 is negative 30 over 2 times 1, which is 2. So negative 30 divided by 2 is negative 15. And if I were to plug that back in there, I would see that negative 15 times 2/5 is negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0, so that works out. Let's look at this next one. I'm going to make that 0. Subtract 3 from both sides. I've got negative 3 equals 1/2 x. Multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 1/2. And I end up with 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6, equals 1/2 times 2 over 1, or 1/2 of 2 is 1, negative 6 equals x. And then I plug that back in there. I did check that one. Plug that back in here. 1/2 of negative 6 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. That looks good. All right. Now, let's see, maybe 3 more U tries. 3x plus 7 equals 3x plus 1. Let's do another U try. 2x minus 4 equals 2x minus 6. Now, we'll start this one together here, and then we'll work this out a little bit more. And then another U try, which is 4x plus 3 equals 4x minus 5. All right, let's do this one together, and then we'll do the rest. Have you do the other ones by themselves. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to subtract the 1 from both sides first. 3x plus 6 equals 3x. Now I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and I get x equals 0. That's not cool. But what this is doing here is I'm going to say, so remember how I was interchanging 0 and y? I was plugging y in for 0. So what this is saying is y equals 6. And so, oops, I should be a little bit lower, sorry. if I have my graph, y equals 6 looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is a line right there. That's y equals 6. And notice how this line is parallel to the x-axis. Since they're parallel, that means that y equals 6 will never cross the x-axis. So when we're talking about having a root or a solution or a zero, that's when the line crosses the x-axis. This line is not going to do that. Therefore, this is no solution. So you guys do this one and also graph it. And then same with this one, graph this one as well. All right, so go ahead and pause and do these two and make sure that you graph them, and then we'll take a look at them together. Go. All right, welcome back. I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and then I've got 2x plus 2 equals 2x. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, and I've got 2 equals 0. All right, same kind of thing as what happened here before. A number equals 0. And so I'm just going to say this is y equals 2. I'm going to graph this thing, find y equals 2. I'm going to put some notches on here just so that I know what is the graph and what is the coordinate plane, what is the line and what is the coordinate plane. Here's y equals 2. There it is. Let's do this one. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I've got 4x plus 8 equals 4x. Subtract 4x from both sides. And I've got 8 equals 0, or y equals 8. Let's graph it. And I go to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There it is, up there. Now, there's another interesting thing that you might see on these. What if I were to take this and I were to have subtracted 3 from both sides? Let's just try that. Subtract 3 from both sides. And then I've got 4x equals 4x minus 8. Subtract 4x from both sides. And I end up with 0 equals negative 8. So I should have y equals negative 8 as well. I should go down here to negative 8. It could be down here. Either way, the answer is no solution. But you might get negative 8. Likewise, up here, you might have gotten negative 2 if you would have added 4 to both sides. Then you would have negative 2, and then you subtract the 2x's, and you would have 0 equals negative 2. Either way, no solution. And the end of 3-2.